Hello, my friends, and welcome to the new moon episode of Collective Awakening Weekly. My name is Carrie Konyha. I'm a professional psychic reader, soul guide, and shamanic healing practitioner in Sedona, Arizona. Thank you so much for joining me today as we take a look at the cosmic energies shaping up around this new moon happening in the sign of Virgo on August 27th. In this episode, we're going to be taking a look at the energies shaping up from August 27th through about September 3rd. Let's go ahead and dive in. Welcome back, my friends. So we are officially in Virgo season. The sun went into Virgo on August 22nd, and now the new moon in Virgo is happening here on the 27th. The Virgo energy is a lot about self-care, self-healing, being of sacred service to yourself, to others, to your sense of connection and community. It's also an energy that supports us in optimizing a quality of order, cohesion, organization in our environments, in our lives. There's really just one main astrological aspect that's connected with this new moon cycle, and that is a square that's happening with Mars in the sign of Gemini. Mars just recently went into the sign of Gemini, and it's going to be staying in the sign of Gemini through till March 2023. Mars in Gemini loves to be active in the way of getting energy moving in the direction of what our creative thoughts and ideas are. This is a time where we can feel like we can make a lot of headway with projects or tasks that require mental focus and concentration. And it's definitely assisting us with this Virgo energy of overseeing a renewed sense of order and organization in our life. Virgo is a lot about the mind-body connection, and Gemini is a lot about thoughts, learning, studying, communication, and things of that nature. The interesting thing is that Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and Virgo is co-ruled by Mercury and Chiron. So let's take a look to see what's going on with Mercury right now. Mercury just recently went into the sign of Libra, which it feels at home in. When Mercury is in Libra, we have a tendency to want to be really social. We want to be engaging with people on those communication levels, and it brings in an energy that makes it easier to express or communicate what we might need from other people, because Libra is a lot about harmony, and it's a lot about relationship dynamics, not just romantic relationships, but relationship dynamics in general. As I'm looking at the chart here for the new moon, I'm seeing that Mercury is opposing both Neptune and Jupiter right now. What this tells me is that the nature of what we feel compelled to explore through conversation with others is going to be connected to topics having to do with our sense of what brings us into expansion, which is Jupiter, and things connected to our soulful enrichment, our soul growth, our creativity, which is connected to Neptune. And even the communication that we have with ourselves is going to be oriented towards, what do I crave? What do I desire? What do I need? To shift into an expanded sense of soulful, spirited connection with myself. Now, this is further emphasized by the fact that we still have Venus in Leo. Venus is heart chakra energy. I talked about that in last week's episode. It's about all things having to do with unconditional love, friendliness, kindness, but it's also what we value, what we need to feel secure in life, because it is connected to Taurus. So Venus is heart chakra, Leo is solar plexus. And this dynamic with Venus in Leo is compelling us also to let our energy shine in the direction of what matters most to us on those heart center levels. It can also be about taking action in the direction of what our heart is compelling us towards. However, right now, Venus is opposed Saturn in Aquarius. Saturn is a lot about regulations, rules, governments, time, and things like that. So with Saturn opposing Venus, there could be a situation where we know what we want, but the timing's not right. We know what we want, but we don't have all the information yet, especially with Mercury preparing to go retrograde here on September 10th. We're in the shadow period now. Mercury being a lot about communication, it feels like whatever we're exploring now in the realm of what we need in order to feel like we're in our optimum exuberance on that light body level, anything that we explore or engage in conversation with others now that are connected to these things are definitely going to be being revisited during that retrograde period, which is going to last from September 10th through October 2nd. So we'll talk a lot more about that as we're getting closer. And as I mentioned briefly at the very end of last week's episode, we just had Uranus go retrograde in the sign of Taurus. Now, Uranus has been conjoined with the north node of the moon for many weeks now. The exact conjunction was about 2.5, 3 weeks ago, but it's still in that sphere of alignment and it's still impacting us. However, with Uranus retrograde now, my sense on that is that we're all being supported and having a space now where we can begin to have a little bit more of a sense of clarity, groundedness, attunement, awareness, and integration with whatever transformative energies were kicked up for you individually during this Uranus North Node conjunction time period. However, overall, for this week, there's a supportive energy of being adaptable and flexible, especially on mind levels. This is the time to be open to considering new possibilities that maybe haven't even completely shown themselves yet. And that's because we have the sun and moon in Virgo now, which is a mutable sign. It's changeable, it's flexible. So even things that we may have felt that we've completely got our mind made up on in the past few weeks, new developments can still come in. And it's advisable while we're in Virgo season to be open to going with the flow in regard to new possibilities and pathways that can be opening up for us now. And so with that, let's take a look at the tarot and see what additional insights and sacred wisdom teachings want to come through. So I'm doing a tarot spread today that is specifically connected to the Virgo new moon energy. And the first card we're going to take a look at today is revealing insights around what we feel called to dedicate our focus on right now. So collectively and then on personal levels, what are we feeling called to focus our attention on as we're coming into this new moon energy? Last new moon of summer. It's the Four of Swords, and swords is related to mental energy. It's the mind level of things, our mental bodies. When the Four of Swords comes up, it heralds a time of going within. It's about having a quiet period of retreating within for the purpose of reviewing, reevaluating, reflecting, contemplating. But it's really not about racking our brain. It's more about allowing divinely inspired, awarenesses to arise to the forefront of our conscious awareness. When you look at the card, you can see that the person laying down here has his hands in a prayer position over the solar plexus chakra. And that is partially connected to Venus in Leo right now. As we talked about, Leo is like solar plexus energy. And so our considerations, our reflections, our willingness to sort of lay down our swords, so to speak, and allow divinely inspired awarenesses to come in are specifically connected to how we feel compelled to take action around the corner. So where are we being called to dedicate our attention right now? Inward. Inward on the higher awareness levels. It's definitely a good idea to spend some time in self-reflection, meditation, as we're coming into the new moon around issues connected to maybe where you've been feeling stuck regarding your pathways forward and how you've been wanting to take action forward. We want to not rely on sheer force of will or the intellect alone. We want to be in our higher mind, which we can achieve through being in a space of meditative awareness and inviting higher guidance in. Next card, how can we focus most efficiently during this time? The Five of Cups is coming up. And so I would say this is a message about being aware of where we still need healing and how perhaps unhealed wounds within us might be causing setbacks, blocks, obstacles, or self-sabotage. Where do you personally feel stuck in ways that are connected to healing wounds, and how is that dynamic in your life limiting you in your ability to shift your point of view in the realm of where there's still new possibilities, potentials, opportunities for joy coming in? The best way to be efficient with our focus is being present with what's really going on, right? So we've got a need for meditation in ways that help us to access higher guidance, higher wisdom, guidance and insights from God's Spirit universe. And to be most efficient with our focus means to be honest with where there might be old wounds that have been bubbling up through this conjunction with Uranus in the North Node, and let yourself tend to your healing, tend to your self-care. Again, this is very much connected to the energy of Virgo season in general. Self-care, self-healing, most efficient use of focus and energy right now. And then what is the quality of personal healing that's available to you through being willing to focus on it? And it feels like it wants to be this one, which is the Seven of Wands coming up. The Seven of Wands is sort of the energy of playing King of the Mountain, right? Where I'm defending my ground, I'm defending my stance, I'm standing strong in what I value, what I stand by, what my standards are. And so when we look at this in the realm of where there's opportunity for personal healing, the healing energy that's available lies within a clarity of awareness regarding your values, your standards, what you choose to stand by, your integrity, and the clarity of awareness around these things is coming through taking the time for meditation, self-reflection, tending to your healing, and almost rising into a new level of empowerment that comes with a deeper sense of clarity and certainty regarding your values and standards that are specifically like soul-centered. I'm not talking about egoic standards or anything like that. I'm talking about core life value level of standards and gaining more of a clarity perhaps around what those are for you in this time in your life because of the transition and transformation that we've been experiencing, can actually bring us all into a space where perhaps some of our values are shifting, and rising into clarity along those lines gives us healing that happens through empowerment of clarity. And then the last card we're going to look at today, which is also very connected to the Virgo theme, is how can I optimize mind, body, spirit alignment? Mind, body, spirit alignment. How can I optimize that? This is intense. The Devil card reversed. When the Devil card comes up right side up, it can indicate where we feel restricted, where we feel enslaved, where we feel limited, stuck. And it also is connected to living life more superficially, materialistically. And when this card shows up reversed, especially in how can I optimize mind, body, spirit alignment, liberating yourself from anything that has been a restrictive force, anything that has been diminishing your quality of joy or fulfillment, anything that has been presenting a challenge in you having that deep, deep sense of really being in your harmonized flow state. Whatever it is in your life that has been hindering that, finding ways to have completion with those things so that they're no longer burdening you, alleviating yourself from burdensome energy that's dimming your light and vibrance and radiance is the best way that we can optimize mind, body, spirit attunement, alignment during this particular new moon cycle. Now, I brought out this book here and I want to read a little segment of it. This is a book that I work with a lot regarding the sacred wisdom teachings for the different new moon cycles. And this book is specifically geared towards sacred feminine wisdom teachings in the indigenous cultures of the Southwest here, Native American cultures. And this new moon cycle, in this book, each new moon cycle has a different archetype and a different name. And the new moon cycle for this month is called She Who Heals. And so I'm just going to read this excerpt here that talks about the energy of this new moon cycle. She, meaning the energy of this new moon, she teaches us the steps of gestation, birth, growth, death, and rebirth. She shows us how the great medicine wheel of life turns, when to fight for life, when to let go, when to allow our spirits to make the choice, and how to accept death as another step that leads to rebirth. She who heals invests every human being she teaches with the ability to drop fear of death and accept the change as a new adventure in living. Whether the death is the end of a relationship, the end of a job, or the end of a physical life, she shows us how to see beyond the illusion of finality and to celebrate each turn in the road as another step that leads to wholeness. And this really summarizes beautifully what the energy of this particular lunar cycle is about and how we can best harness the energy. The archetype is she who heals, Again, it's a lot about self-healing, self-care on every level, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Physically can include your physical body, also your physical environment. We're also about to experience a shift in the wheel of the year. The seasons are turning and we're coming into new energies as we come into next month's new moon. And so this month is really about optimizing our mind, body, spirit attunement, alignment in preparation for the next season of experience in our life. So feel free to explore, discuss with each other in the comments below, however these energies are resonating with you or shaping up for you. As usual, if you have questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. I love reading and responding to your guys' comments. And so yeah, taking the time to get really clear on what your personal intentions are for this new moon cycle. Again, take a look to see where the Virgo section of your natal chart is, and that will give you extra information so that you can really consciously fine-tune what your intentions are. So I'm going to wrap it up here for today, guys. All my love, blessings, namaste, and I'll see you in the next video.